Welcome to the 3 a.m. podcast. My name is DJ.
My name is Charlie.
My name is Sean.
Today we got a guest today, Seth Gartz. What's up, man?
What's up? Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. It's been kind of a long time in the making. About a year.
Yeah.
About a year. And
That seems to be on par with our timelines, though.
yeah.
About a year behind.
But nonetheless, we're grateful to have you here.
Thanks again.
Also here is Seth's wife, Rachel. Both of them longtime listeners, supporters, patrons.
Move your head so they can see. Cool.
But yeah, super stoked for this. So I met Seth for the first time about a year ago, which is when he told me this story that he had on his mission in Indonesia.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it's from a friend of his on the mission. And when he told me that story, it straight up was like A24 levels of horror
damn.
to me. And I was like, all right, you're coming on the pod.
Yeah, it's
Bro, way to
it's
hype
crazy.
it up, dude.
It's crazy. It's low-key kind of funny too. Yeah. Especially knowing him. But yeah.
Heck
We'll
yeah.
get to that later.
Excited. Tell us about you, like where you're from, where you grew up, things like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I was born in Hong Kong. My mom is from Hong Kong, and I've got a few short stories that I'll share in a sec. Kind of talking about Hong Kong and her as a kid. I do believe in like the supernatural. I love scary stuff. A lot of my biggest, like most profound experiences were when I was a child. Kind of same with my mom, and the like one short story that I'll share of her in Hong Kong was from her as a kid, growing up. So that's always like stuck with me, those experiences as a kid. And a lot of it revolves around like being really, really sick. Maybe you guys have like talked about like the veil, right? Like between the spirit world and, reality, I guess. For me, yeah, it's most thin when I'm like really, really sick. And yeah, I'll share more in my stories about that. Yeah.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
We've talked about being in like a weakened state or an altered state,
For sure.
but I've never really heard like being sick and that opening you up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same concept, though.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
Makes sense. When I had vid this last year, I had never really experienced like fever dreams.
Yeah.
So they were happening and I was like, dude, every time I go to bed, it's like a battle for my life and I don't know. And someone was like, that's a fever dream. And I was like, oh, like I never connected the dots.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Deej?
No, before we get into more spooky stuff with your mom, was she supernatural?
Yeah, no, I believe so. And I think in like my story that I'll share about like my personal story as a kid, she like witnessed that firsthand, and that like really for her cemented spirits are real, like good and bad. So yeah, I'd say she is. Yeah.
Cool.
But you grew up here in Utah. I kind of want to
Yeah.
learn a little more. Your family owns Slab Pizza.
Yeah. My dad started it.
Shout out
owns it.
Slab. Slab is dope.
Wait, so is that where your passion for food came from? Because your dad had.
I think it started before. So yeah, I was born in Hong Kong, lived there for like a year or two, moved to the States. We lived in like Washington State. And then my dad went to business school in Chicago for 2 years. And I think that's where he and my mom like really developed their foodiness and actually like became food snobs, sorry.
He said what he said.
I meant it. No. Yeah, became like food snobs. My dad always talks about we'd eat at like Olive Garden and like Applebee's and shit.
DJ just perked
That
up
was
there.
like Red Lobster and stuff, like TGI
Oh, yeah.
Fridays. But that was pre-Chicago. Chicago, like like my parents and some of their good friends that were also like there for school. I'm pretty sure they took out like student loans to go like fine dining and stuff. And so
That's how we
Yeah.
do.
Smart investment,
Yeah,
it sounds
so-
like to me.
We may or may not
yeah.
have a friend who spent their entire like FAFSA or like student loan just to go to New Zealand with us. And then like dropped out right after and bro, suffer the consequences for like a decade. But anyway, I respect the grind is what I'm saying.
yeah, definitely from that point on,
No more Olive Garden.
Like, yeah, no more. Like, I think it's probably one of my dad's like proudest achievements is that like my youngest brother Ethan has never been to Olive Garden.
Damn, that is
Yeah.
an achievement.
Pre and post Chicago.
Yeah, that's like high tier. food
Set the
snobbery.
precedence,
Yeah.
for
Okay, but so they learned their foodiness in Chicago, but Slab, I feel like, is not Chicago style pizza.
No,
No.
So what happened there?
Slab is just easier.
That's true. Though.
And,
No, dude,
I mean,
just to
everyone loves deep dish, but yeah,
I prefer thin crust over deep.
Get that big slice.
I love both, but like deep dish is definitely like whenever like we've got good friends in Chicago still, and occasionally we'll like drive out there, and so after 20 hours on the car, deep dish hits. So
That makes sense.
it's really good. It's really good then. It's
Bro, is
best
there
then.
a like pizza game beef in Utah between the different
Yeah,
franchises?
actually, I want to
tell
know
us-
this.
I kind of want to start a new podcast where we just talk about like drama and shit. Especially in
any
Utah,
sphere.
in any industry. Like, tell me who you hate, why they have the wackest crust, or like what's going on.
No, so the only other pizza I'll eat, like, and I do have my like food snobbiness. Rachel would attest to that.
You
but,
can be
yeah.
as snobby as you want
But-
here, dude.
But, like,
We have some
also
snobs, so you're good.
I'm also like not picky. I'll eat anything, and so like from Little Caesars up to like whatever the best pizza.
Slab.
The good pizza.
Well, I'd say
Caesars
like
slab.
if we're talking about beef, I don't have beef with people except for like the customers that come in and they're like, "Wait, this isn't Blaze or something." you know? Like, wait,
GTFO.
I thought this was like the LeBron place.
What's the LeBron place?
LeBron owns Blaze.
LeBron has like
That's why you
Or-
shouldn't go to Blaze.
Yeah. No mas. No mas para me.
but
That's why I was like,
That's
can you not read?
also his stance on China too. So I'm sure your family is against it.
For real, dude.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have like listeners in China?
Probably not.
Probably not. I'm
Ever
guessing
since
not.
Jordan moved out, no. We had one.
So
It was like
so we can talk about Hong Kong and what China's doing there.
Kind of,
Yeah,
but
dude.
I get nervous. But dude, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
Tell
they
me about
can't
it because
cancel
you're.
us in our own country, dog.
I don't know if we ever talked about it super candidly or clearly because we weren't sure back then. Like when it first broke out, it's like you weren't allowed to say certain words or else you got like auto banned.
Mhm.
Jordan was going to business school, and the province he was in was literally the province next to Wuhan.
Yeah.
And he was like messaging us. They were talking about COVID in January on Reddit. Like, yo, it's coming. Everyone get ready. But no one in the West cared at all. So Jordan was over there and he's watching it and he was telling us like, yo, there's like this thing going down. I don't know what's going to happen. And then he buys a ticket and like gets on the plane. I think like hours after he landed in the US, they shut everything down and he would have been stuck there for like a year and a half, 2 years.
My parents were in Hong Kong in January. Yeah.
Holy
It
cow.
2019,
2020.
2020,
Yeah. Right. Or wait, COVID was 2020, right?
I don't know.
2020.
That's my
actually. Yeah,
timeline
no,
of-
2020
Yeah, so
is when
you're
it
talking about like January, right? And like people are talking about it on Reddit. That's like my parents were in Hong Kong. And then my youngest brother had just left the MTC to go to Seoul, South Korea on his mission at the same time as they were going to Hong Kong. And so he had like started his mission as it's like starting to rumble in China. And then like my parents were in Hong Kong and they had this whole trip around Asia. They're going to go to like Vietnam and Thailand and like Bali and all that stuff. And they ended up, having to quarantine in like in a hotel room for like 2 weeks before being able to come back.
Holy
And
cow.
then my brother, Ethan, he came home. He was one of those COVID missionaries that came home.
The unrighteous.
Yeah.
So that whole timeline was wild though, because like I was in London the week before they closed all flights coming from the UK, and like one of my flights that was going up to Edinburgh was canceled, and the whole airline went bankrupt. And then I was like, you know what? I probably should just make sure I
That's
get back to
insane.
the US. And that Friday I got back, they were like, no more.
Dude, talk about fever dream. That whole year.
Okay, wait. I want to.
It's been a while, but
Okay, maybe speaking on something that you are more versed in, with you being a food snob, what are some of your snobbiest food opinions?
I like it.
Or what do you have any that you can call off the bat? What he's most snobby about? Sauces.
Sauces.
Teach us.
sauces. Okay, so I hate ketchup.
I
think
acceptable.
that's like I don't think that's like too.
So you
far
love
out.
fry sauce then? Is that what you're saying?
I hate fry sauce. Like I'll like if it's like the only thing, and like the fries are dry as hell, then yeah, I'll dip it in some fry sauce. But for the most part, yeah, I tend to avoid it. Again, I'm not picky. I'll eat anything. I think more recently Rachel's noticed this. Like we'll go out to eat at some like a new place in town. We'll go and eat. I'm like, yeah. This is good. Like this component is good or whatever. I like this, and then I'll get home and just like shit on it. But yeah,
Does your opinion change, or are you just being nice at the spot?
I'm just kind of being nice at the spot.
Again, that was trash.
Because again, like working in the food industry, right? Like I understand the restaurants being slow and getting your food, or it's like really busy. Like I understand that. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be an asshole because I deal with assholes all the time. But not to call them out.
No, 100%.
No, let's call them out, dude.
But even on their best day, this sucks.
Yeah. So like I get that, but like I don't trash on people's like service or anything.
Because it could be having a terrible time.
Yeah. But like when it comes to food, I don't know, especially there are good places in Utah, I would say. Especially coming back from London, the food like everywhere is like the food is so good, and like coming back, like I used to eat out all the time, and now I just like have no appetite to eat out. So now I just starve myself now.
Nice.
Just ruined food.
Yeah. But
How was it growing up so my mom's Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
She's half Japanese, half white. Grew up in Ogden and then Orem.
Mm.
And she would tell me stories. I'm sure it's a little different, but she would tell me stories of like, she was the only Asian in like all of like the valley at one point. It felt like at least for herself.
On the Mountain West.
Yeah. So she said like every recess, she was like fighting like boys because
She's
they were
probably
just
really
like
good too,
relentlessly calling her, slurs and whatnot.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. She said like every recess she had to like kick a boy's ass. Like, was it, I know it's different, but did you ever get weirdness for being Asian in Utah? Or how was that? If you didn't notice it at all, that's cool too.
A little bit. I think it was a little bit better, especially like in Provo, there were a lot of exchange students. So like me being half and they being full, but I think it was much more apparent being little. I remember experiencing racism for the first time. It was actually in Chicago. I remember just like walking outside of our apartment building and these two black guys walked by and were just like saying like ching chong or something like that. I'm just like this little Chinese kid with like, a mushroom cut. Really cute. But I remember them like
Just like cute racism.
Yeah.
No, I know. I feel that.
But no, for like the most part I just embraced it, especially here in Utah. Like all my friends, if they want to crack funny Asian jokes, it was fun. It was fine.
We've often said, it's like a thing, but like the most racist against Asian people are Asian people.
Yeah.
Like, so do you guys clown on like other Asians?
Yeah.
In your household or like your friends?
I wouldn't say I guess my mom can kind of be, she can like say some stuff sometimes. It's kind of funny.
Who does she hate? Who's her number one? You can say Japanese too if you want. I understand.
Well, I know there's like history with like, China and Japan.
Like legitimate crimes.
But like Japan's so awesome now, they went from raping and killing
Murderers to
all of
murdering,
Asia to anime and Pokemon and stuff. So they're chill now.
Dude, that's all we had to do.
That's progress.
They've redeemed themselves.
DJ and I were clowning on Asians the other day at work because we're both part Asian. And then there's a part Chinese girl who like works right behind us. And we were just like clowning Chinese. Mm-hmm. And she was getting like sad. It's so like there's something that happens when you're joking. It's like, okay, I could double down or I can like be nice and say I'm sorry. And like, so I was like, I'm going to double down. So I doubled down and I was just like, oh, it's okay. We're just talking about mainland Chinese. She's like, my family is from the mainland. You made it worse. And I was like, damn it. So,
but no, definitely like, I I don't like mainland Chinese people.
Yeah, he's not mainland.
Like
Chinese.
I know that I know that there are good mainland. Like I've got some friends that are from mainland China, but like
Is that a stereotype
especially
in China too? Is like mainland versus
in Hong Kong, like in Hong Kong, you notice it because like especially now, like all the mainland Chinese people, they have tons of money. The joke is that they'll come over with suitcases just full of cash and then just like shop because like Hong Kong, it's like the best place for shopping, food, everything. I mean, you go anywhere in the world, like you'll see like tour buses full of Chinese people, right? In those like big buses. But yeah, you see them even in Hong Kong too. They're just like everywhere. It's like it's annoying. Like we went
even
there's,
Chinese people are like, that's enough Chinese.
even in Hong Kong, like it's so weird. Like the last time we were in Hong Kong a few years ago, we went to this super like scenic spot. It's called the Peak up on the mountain. You can just like you can oversee like the whole harbor and like Central and across the bay, and literally just like packed to the brim, like the whole shopping mall, like everything up there is just like mainland Chinese people. You go to like amusement parks, just tons of mainland Chinese people, and they're just like shitting on everything. I remember like being a kid and like going to like this aquarium.
Literally or making fun of?
Huh?
Like shitting,
Like,
pants down, or
Yo, isn't that
making fun
a
of
stereotype
No, but
too,
like-
though? Like,
yeah, because
mainland Chinese tourists like taking dumps in like
oh yeah.
in like other people's countries, like
Yeah.
in the middle of the street.
Oh, there's a comedian that I was listening to, and like yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's true, huh? They like shit
There is
in
a
hotel rooms
stereotype.
and stuff. But no, like I remember like being a kid and like like watching like this aquarium, looking at seahorses and just like mainland Chinese people just like being all grumpy and like this is stupid and just like shitting on, like we've got better and like back in mainland.
oh my god,
Just rolls up to the Grand Canyon. Nah, this is stupid.
Yeah, we have a grander canyon.
Well, it's like even I was in Thailand a few years ago, and we're at this like really cool temple, and yeah, like, same thing. It's just like a shit ton of Chinese people, mainland Chinese people, just like disregarding all the rules. Like you have to like take off your shoes at like this like
They put on another pair.
yeah, like walking in, but it's all just like for them. Tourism is just like prestige, right? It's just like take a bunch of selfies, on to the next place. That's what annoys me.
So it's like
Also, like
status.
they're like complete disregard for like rules and just like them.
because they're outside of the country and they finally can
They're
disobey
like,
the
oh,
rules
there's
with no
no more rules.
repercussions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's no cameras.
There's no caning or anything. It's just like
marking them for points for
yeah,
disobedience or anything.
yeah, exactly.
Can
Their
I
social level. Right?
make a confession?
Yeah.
This might be the Japanese inside of me, but every time I'm at like a national park or something, I like cameras, and I've notoriously been broke my entire adult life.
Yeah.
Like when I left my parents, I was like, damn, I don't have anything. Anyway, I'm at these national parks. Tiny old Asian women will be carrying like $8,000 cameras. And I just look at them. And back in my former days,
Your current date, former days.
yeah,
You would allegedly.
like, man, I could just run up and take it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. We'll cut that.
Karate
I
chop.
can
a
rob
bit.
this lady right now. Anyway, it's just a
buy
thought
another
that crosses my head sometimes. What?
They could just buy another one.
True. Okay, Brittany, cut that. And if there's anything you do want to cut, just let us know and we'll take it out.
Sounds good.
If I made you talk about who your mom hates the most.
Dude, going back to that, it's kind of funny. So like when I got or I guess when I came home, I'd always talk about like, let's go to Indonesia, right? And like everyone knows Bali. Everyone knows Bali. It's the place to go.
Like
Indonesia.
vacation spot.
It's the vacation spot,
Yeah.
right? Like beaches, surfing.
If you're a young
Jungle.
backpacker too, it's like, oh, we got to go Bali.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's like, Bali is cool to go to just to say you've been, but there are so many.
No, it's
Cool
overrated
places.
though. You think,
I mean, it's like really nice, but
or
like,
perfectly rated?
there's an island. Yeah, I guess it's perfectly rated. There's an island like right to the east called Lombok. It's just as good, and it's less. It's
How
like
do
it's
you
less.
spell
What is it called?
Lombok.
Lombok.
Okay. Adding that to my
Yeah.
Okay, I'm bringing this up.
Oh,
And like again, like Indonesia is just islands, just chains of islands. So like you can island hop.
Isn't that one place that was in Tales by Light, Raja Ampat or
Raja
something?
Ampat. Yeah, that's in
That
like
looks dope.
yeah, that's in Papua.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it? It's not.
Yeah,
Is it part? It's not part of Indonesia.
it is part of Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah. So Indonesia extends all the way to like, so like the island mass of Papua New Guinea. Yeah, that left the west half is Indonesia.
Dude, how strong is that border? Like, as far as culturally? Because everything I know about Papua New Guinea is terrifying.
Yeah, no,
And Papua is
headhunters.
like in between Asia and Polynesia.
yeah.
Is it Micronesia or Melanesia?
Something.
Either or.
Sure.
It's like
Yeah, so like
they're not Asian.
if
They're
you
not
looked up
poly.
a picture of like a Javanese person versus a
Let's do it.
Papuan, like it's completely different, right?
So on this
Especially
map,
like in like the farther east you go, the more Afro the people become.
okay, where were like your
Afro like Polynesian.
areas that you were at?
So the church is mainly in Java. So Jakarta is the capital
Okay.
in West Java. So yeah, most of the mission areas are in the island of Java.
Just right there in like Jakarta and down.
Jakarta, yeah, all the way to the east.
East Timor.
East Timor is a separate mission because
Oh, okay,
they speak Portuguese. I guess it's technically part of like, I think it's maybe under the jurisdiction of the Indonesia mission. I know that there was like a senior couple that went there like a few years ago. I don't know if they actually have missionaries there yet, but yeah, they speak because it was like a Portuguese colony, I guess. So in Timor-Leste, in East Timor, they speak Portuguese.
Real quick, do we want to jump into the mission? Did we have any more questions from the hips?
Not really.
Okay.
Cool.
So at some point, you decided to serve an LDS mission.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know or are not Mormons,
They should know by this point.
Yeah, I know, but we have a lot of new listeners who don't go to the back catalog.
Yeah.
We at some point in every Mormon boy and girl's life, they have to decide if they want to serve a mission, which means you send in this application and they send back an answer, and they can send you anywhere around the world.
Yeah.
And so it's like really exciting. It's a really like coming to age experience for all Mormons. You go, you live somewhere for 1.5 to 2 years, serving and trying to help people. And if they're interested, you teach them about our religion. You have to fully immerse yourself in the culture, learn the language, eat the food, get sick,
Yeah.
and try to survive.
Yeah.
So that's like a common experience that binds us all. That's what we're going to talk about. So you sent your papers in. Did you want to go stateside? Did you want to go, like, what was that like?
No, I definitely wanted to go to Asia.
Where did you think you were going?
I wanted to go to Hong Kong because, again, it's where like my mom is from. All my family's there. Like I always like hated not being able to talk to any of my family. I still do. It's kind of sad. And so, yeah, definitely like Hong Kong was the top of my list, right? It's where my parents served, it's where they met. It's like my second home. So that was definitely like that was like my number one choice. Like I remember it's probably the same for you guys, like having this talk with my parents right before. Like you're always like super nervous, right? Because you don't want to open it up and go to Boise.
Bro, I got mine during serving at a restaurant. Opened it up, read it, and then went down and finished my. You can respect that because like it was like what's the term where it's like super busy? I don't know, like rush hour or whatever at the restaurant. So I was like, I'm going here, and I ran back downstairs. But anyway, so
and it was just like it's the talk. It's like like all my little siblings were there. I'm the oldest, so like all my younger siblings were there. Like we're all nervous for me, and it's just like my dad was like, "Remember, guys, it's like we all have been like praying for Seth to go to Hong Kong. Like it'll be like a dream come true. But remember, it's not important. Like wherever you go, Seth, it's like that's where you're supposed to go, and that's where you're meant to be, right?"
God's like, I'm finna test this faith.
And so I I open it up and I see IND and I'm like, oh shit, Indiana. But then it was Indonesia. Oh, that's sweet. And I was like, where the hell is that? I just like pictured like jungle, which is like true. And I like my geography is pretty good. So I was like, pretty sure that's over by, I know that's like Southeast Asia. So I'm pretty sure it's by like Australia and stuff. You served in Australia, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I my whole life wanted to go to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just missed. I went to Australia. Damn. Kind of similar. I was like, damn it,
God,
but
just
okay.
missing on all of us,
Yeah.
dude. I wanted to go to Hong Kong too, because I'm part Chinese.
Yeah.
I went to the Philippines.
I have a friend who is not sharp.
He's right here.
Super, yeah, no. He's a super nice kid, like nice, but sometimes just doesn't think before he talks. And his sister opened her call up. Everyone's there, like extended family. Everyone. It's this huge event. And she's like, you've been hereby called to serve in this St. George mission. Silence in the room. Broken by him going, that sucks. He said it so loud and everyone looks at him and he's like, oh, I mean, good job, or like, congratulations. But yeah, just funny things.
Yeah, so Indonesia, yeah, it was super cool. And then, yeah, it was totally life-changing. Had the best time there. It was just super chill. Like, the people there are super awesome. A crazy fact about it is that it's the country with the largest population of Muslims. So, like, Islam is, like, the dominant religion there. I think it's anywhere between, like, 88 and 90% of the country, is Islamic. And so, yeah, that definitely made missionary work, like, specifically interesting. But
Were you allowed to proselyte? Knock on doors?
no, yeah, so like knocking on doors was technically against the law.
You had to be
So,
invited.
Yeah, you had to be invited.
Like vampires.
So like you could talk with anyone, but you couldn't be direct because like you could get in trouble. Like that happened a fair amount of times. One time it like blew up. So like you could contact, you could talk to people.
That's a risky choice of words.
Yeah, no, I realized after I said that, but no, it was funny. So like I got called to be a district leader. My last area, the super cool city. It was like the best place to end my mission, and like I land, two of the missionaries there come to pick me up at the airport, and they're like, "Hey, you should probably take off your name tag right now. We're kind of undercover right now." And he's
Sweet.
like, "Yeah, you'll see later on Facebook." And basically, like some guy had taken pictures of like my now new companion and the guy that I replaced. They were just like talking to people out on the street, like in a really like busy part of town. And this guy had taken a bunch of pictures of them just like talking to people, you know, handing out like pamphlets and Book of Mormons and stuff. Books of Mormon. And
That's such meta Mormon humor, bro.
yeah.
Books of Mormon.
Anyways, took a bunch of pictures of them, posted on Facebook, and was like, you know, watch out for these missionaries from the Mormon church. They're out to convert all of Islam. So like,
Damn.
if you see them in your villages and neighborhoods and stuff,
Then what?
Like, kick them out. Kick them out.
On site?
Yeah, like they're in like.
He's not
I'm
wrong
sure-
though, you know, like
I'm sure. Like in the
They're like, there's no more room in the inn
that, like
for the Mormons.
every mission or like area has red zones, like on the you know area map that you're not supposed to go to because of
past
history.
crazy.
What a crazy experience, because like especially if you're not Mormon, like, dude, you're supposed to be wearing that name tag representing the church, the entirety of your mission.
Yeah.
And you're also supposed to disconnect from all social media. So right when you get there, they're like, take off your tag. Let's look at Facebook.
Well, yeah, like district leaders were the only people that could use Facebook. Like now, missionaries just use Facebook all the time.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
it's TikTok.
Like my brother in South Korea has like a smartphone. He can like he's on Instagram all the time.
Damn, dude.
Not
It's messed up.
built to.
Get some like 500 characters a month during my mission.
But
Trying to conserve sentences.
yeah, so like I think it had even like reached Salt Lake. It got back to like Salt Lake and
This whole ordeal of
yeah, the whole thing on Facebook. Like like going to the chapel later that day, opening up Facebook and seeing the post is just like thousands of shares, hundreds of comments. Like, oh yeah, like I see these people all the time. Like it was crazy. It was crazy, and like nothing really.
Dude, you could technically
came-
count those as like contacts.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, that's a lot of shares, a lot of contacts today.
Like nothing
Engagements, yeah.
huge came of it. Like
That you know,
after
Elder.
that I know of. No one died, but like after a few days, just resumed as normal. But yeah, like there were a few like there's some crazy stories. There were a few like bombings in Jakarta of like Starbucks and stuff.
Just
During
F
that time there.
Starbucks
Why?
specifically.
It's just American companies. So
A symbol of the West.
it's just people with like a bunch of grenades strapped to them outside Starbucks and McDonald's and stuff. Weren't allowed to go to malls and stuff. but
Because
like
Mormons don't drink coffee and they're the devil.
no, but like crazy stuff like that was very, very seldom. Again, like Indonesians are like some of the best people in the world. Just super chill, super nice. I would say even like the nicest people that I met on my mission were Muslim, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I met a ton of Muslim on my mission as well. So nice.
Mhm.
So like Australians not accommodating, not welcoming. They just told me to off for 2 years straight. But the Muzzies were like, "Yo, come in, come share food." And I was like, "Heck yeah."
Yeah.
Especially
Especially like Ramadan, like especially when they break fast. It's like super in the morning. They like bring all their leftovers. It's super, super chill. Yeah.
how's the food?
Indonesian food is the best.
Ooh, I don't
It's
think I've
so
ever
good.
had Indonesian.
What's a
food.
typical Indonesian dish?
I would probably 3 most known nasi goreng. It's like fried rice. It's very like typical on par with like your normal fried rice, but they'll throw in. There's like this thing called ketchup manis. It's basically just like a sweet soy sauce. It's like very thick.
Ketchup, mayonnaise,
Yeah.
fry sauce.
two
dog.
of the things that I freaking hate, right? No, ketchup mayonnaise is just like it's like sweet soy sauce. It's almost like molasses, like it's so thick. But they pour that shit in everything, and so yeah, not like everything for the most part is just like super spicy. I didn't take a normal shit for 2 years. So nasi goreng is like up there. Probably satay, just like chicken skewers, or they've got like lamb or beef or whatever. But chicken's most common. It's just
Ton
like
of beef?
No,
More chicken.
not more. Yeah, mostly chicken. And then like since it's predominantly Muslim, right? There's like 0 pork.
Oh yeah.
Like only ate pork maybe once or twice. I ate more dog than I did pork.
Are there
How is
any-
dog?
Oh,
Dog?
shit, yeah.
Dog is interesting. Like I don't mind it. Like I'd eat it again, but I didn't believe it because I had companions that were like, "Oh yeah, like if you eat a lot of dog, it feels like really like spicy in your stomach. It like burns." So I ate a lot of dog once,
That's
and
sin.
it's
That's
true.
what that is.
It's true. It's like you feel it. Like it's a different sensation than just like spicy diarrhea or whatever. You really feel it in your stomach. It's weird. It's weird. But
Would you
it's
be
good.
okay if they started serving up dog in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Like, where are you on the scale of Indonesia to PETA?
I probably wouldn't eat it here, just because my family has dogs. It's just different there because it's like this is normal, Like I see that shit like in China too. Like you'll see them roasting it, like roasting dogs on spits and stuff.
Oh,
But
It's aggressive.
Woof.
yeah,
what's the weirdest thing you've eaten?
probably bat.
Oh,
The dogs.
It was you.
Yeah. No, it's just
What
like
does bat taste like?
Oh, bat. I thought you said that.
bat. No, it's just like gamey meat. I
Oh.
don't know. Yeah, it's just like really. It's weird. I wouldn't. I mean, it's kind of different now because you could start a pandemic, but like, no, yeah, it was a fun experience. I didn't really get sick. There's this one dude that I've given a lot of shit to because a lot of the rules came about because he would do stupid stuff. So like he ate monkey and got hella sick.
Is he like deathly sick? You can get like prions and they go to
Yeah.
your brain and then you die.
Yeah, especially if it's not like. I mean, you're not finding monkey in like 5-star restaurants. I don't know where the
Some
hell he
sketchy
was
corner.
finding it, but yeah,
They need to add that to the white handbook.
yeah.
No monkey.
No monkeys. That was like me and dolphin, dude. We ate dolphin.
What did that taste like?
It tasted good, dude. I made a adobo out of it. Dolphin adobo.
Damn, bro.
It was we lived in a fishing village and they caught a dolphin and when they pulled it up, it was like already dead. like with all these other fish. And they're like, well, let's turn a negative into a positive. So they butchered it and sold it. Like you can walk to the beach and just buy the fish there, fresh, straight from the ocean. 50 boats on the shore, and they're all trying to sell fish. And this one boat has dolphin, and my companion who's Filipino, who is like one of my best friends, he's like, oh, this is dope. I'll make this into adobo for you. And I was like, okay, that sounds dope. He makes it, and it was delicious. But by the end of the day, we were like shitting through our mouths because dolphins have like high mercury content in their blood.
Oh,
So it's like,
Yeah.
we didn't know that, nor do we know how to like cook that out. So yeah, we just got mercury poisoning. Bro.
Explains a lot, though.
It tasted great though.
speaking of adobo, I had a Filipino companion.
Yeah.
Shout out
Oh.
to Gagrin.
Hey,
Kamusta ka?
He,
Gagan style.
I don't know if this is true or maybe this was just him, but like he put vinegar on everything.
Oh yeah, Filipinos
Yeah.
love vinegar.
That's like I figured because
Top
like the
three
adobo
ingredients.
is like, but literally our study room just smelled like vinegar. It was awful.
Love it. Love it. Take me back.
Everyone complained, and he was like the nicest. He's the nicest kid, but like just
Bro, you
always
stink.
smelled like vinegar.
Because is Indonesia a third world country? Considered third world?
Yeah,
So they had a third worlder telling him he was stink. That's a new low. You said there were 3 dishes. There's the nasi
yeah. So
goreng.
nasi goreng, satay,
satay, and-
satay is up there, and then
Is that the same thing as I see it in like Indian restaurants? Chicken, SATAY.
yeah, you see
It's
that.
satay?
Yeah, satay. You see
Well,
that
it's
like lots
pronounced
of,
as satay.
no,
Like an
you
idiot.
say-
I don't know. So you're
So, like,
you're in an
satay?
ethnic restaurant. You're trying to pronounce it all ethnic. You know.
yeah, so you see it like most, like especially in Utah, like in Thai restaurants. Yeah,
Yeah.
satay. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just satay.
Satay. Okay.
It's just like it's SATE is how they
That's
spell
what I
it
thought.
in
And then they
Indonesia.
like
It's just like a softie, like
Romanized it almost.
satay. Yeah,
AY. What's the third one?
it's called rendang. It's
Rendang.
like it's basically beef, and it's just cooked with like a bunch of different spices. It's like braised, slow cooked, like curry beef. It's so good.
Are there any good like Indonesian restaurants around here?
Yeah, there's one called Makan Makan.
Where's that?
It's
Yeah, where is
it's by Shields.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
where I
Just
lived.
over.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
head over there.
it's right next door to Original Pancake House.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
I know
okay.
exactly where that
Yeah,
is.
so Makan Makan. Yeah,
They're about to
Sure.
get blowed up.
you can get.
Wait,
yeah.
not really. Sorry.
Y'all gotta cut that out. Your
Yeah.
vernacular for this episode.
Did you have stories from your mission?
Yeah.
Or are we going to mainly talk about China or Indonesia?
So I have like one quick story of my mom when she was a kid in Hong Kong, and then probably travel from Hong Kong to Indonesia, and then back to the good old US of A.
Sick. Did we have anything else we
Stories.
want to cover before we move to stories?
No.
Any thoughts from you?
No.
Okay.
So let's start in Hong Kong. So yeah, like I said, my mom grew up there. She doesn't have like a lot of scary stories, but the few that she does are like they're pretty scary, and they gave me nightmares as a kid. I don't know if you have that picture of the village. So my mom grew up.
Is it this one?
No, it's the
That
yeah.
one? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so that picture of me is in front of Bok Vlom village, Bok Vlom Chun. It's an awesome village. It's actually, I think it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site because
Oh,
it's
really?
like the last remaining village on Hong Kong Island.
Oh, dang.
It's pretty cool because everything else has been
Modernized.
just wiped down, apartment buildings, skyscrapers. So yeah, it's pretty amazing that it's remained, and that's like where my mom grew up. So I've got I've got one of my aunties that still lives there. The short story that I'm going to share from my mom happened in that you can see like that big apartment building
Yeah.
in the back. So from what I know, that's where she lived. So my mom is the youngest of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of kids. Crazy story. Like my grandparents actually lived in a village in southern China, but as like Chairman Mao, like Mao Zedong, like was kind of doing his whole revolution, my grandparents got out. they had a few kids. So I had like an uncle, I guess, that passed away really young. My grandpa basically swam through like Hong Kong Harbor and snuck into Hong Kong. So that's like his like quick story, like swim past like boats and stuff, and that's how he like got into Hong Kong, got a job or whatever, and then eventually brought my grandma and their kids over. And so yeah, like growing up, my mom's youngest of 10, right? Like she was just like all of her siblings were like kind of growing up, like married. She was the youngest. So she like did whatever she wanted. She was like troublemaker. She always talked about like drinking and smoking and like stealing from like 7-Eleven and stuff, and just free for all. She just did whatever she wanted.
The heist.
She like
7-Eleven.
she'd always like joke. She's like, I'm not a smart Asian. I went to the stupid schools. You know, I was a stupid kid. I was just a bad kid growing up.
She sounds dope, dude.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. Simi is awesome. But that building is where she grew up. I think later, I don't know at what point, but they moved to a small house in the village, I guess. And so that's where I've got like 2 aunties that still live there with their families in that house. And so that's where we always go, and that's where we stay whenever we go back to Hong Kong. Yeah, super awesome village. But yeah, as a kid, right, she would just like run around, do whatever she wanted. In that apartment building, on one of the floors, there was this room that was abandoned, which was pretty weird because, you know, tons of families, multiple generations, everyone just packed into all these apartments. But there was this one that they'd often, you know, run by as they're getting up to whatever they're doing. She has 2 instances that like of like scary things that she saw as she would run past these rooms. She says that one time she's running by and she like saw someone hanging from the ceiling, like they like hung themselves, but it was just like an apparition or something, you know, because like it wasn't there, it was gone after they had come back after like telling someone. And so that was like the first thing, the scariest thing that like gave me nightmares as a kid was, you know, she's out with her friends and running around. For whatever reason, she has this like need to go into the room, and she goes up to like the wall, and there's this like clay pot, and she's just drawn to it, and she goes to open it. There's a face staring back up at her. Yeah, like as a kid that like freaked the hell out of me, right? Like so yeah, that's my mom's stories of being a kid. And
Does she still like stand by? I'm like,
yeah,
they happen.
yeah,
Yikes.
yeah.
Was there any kind of like folklore or something around like pots or
Faces and pots.
Faces and pots?
That's a,
Yeah, I
like
don't
a
know.
really like strange thing I've never heard before.
Yeah, I don't
Y'all ever play Yu-Gi-Oh? Y'all remember this?
yeah.
Bro, you nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Not
Heart
quite
of the
like
cards,
that, but
baby.
yeah. No, I don't know. And like I guess religiously, I guess my family, I guess they don't really go to church. It's more you worship your ancestors, right? So like at my aunties in all of their houses, they've got like a shrine where they light the incense every morning. And back in China, where my the village where my grandparents grew up, we've got like Mulan, like family temple.
oh no.
You know?
Have a mushu.
Yeah, got all the stone tablets with like 18 generations of people, whatever. But
Wait, so
yeah, I don't.
you add your name to that when you die or something?
Someone else would
That
probably
sounded
add it
so
for you,
ignorant, but like, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't know like if I've got any of my uncles or anyone on it. The funny thing is like, I mean, it's all the men. All of the men's names are recorded, right? And they'll just be like wife or something like that, you know? Like none of the daughters, right?
Snuffed.
Yeah, it's horrible. But like religious, like when my parents were doing, temple work and stuff, it was like writing down on the cards or whatever. It was just like so-and-so's name and like so-and-so's spouse, like wife or whatever, or something like that. But yeah, kind of going back to like, is there anything connection with like pots and stuff? I have no idea, but
Dang.
I just know that scared me as a kid.
Did that ever like trigger her like later on? Like I couldn't open
Tupperware.
No. She's like cooking steamed rice in her clay pot. No, never. And then kind of connecting to my mission, I remember when I got my call, for whatever reason, my mom was like, with Indonesia, she's like, that's where like black magic is like heaviest. It's where it's like black magic is strongest.
That's the first thing she comes out the gate with.
Yeah. It's just like, probably wasn't necessarily like the first thing, but it's like,
I finished
that's where,
reading
like,
the call. Black magic.
black magic, voodoo, like flying carpets and shit.
But it was definitely on her radar. She was
Yeah,
like, yo.
there's definitely like Indonesia is very unknown. And I wish I could just like go into like crazy detail about crazy folklore and stuff, but like Indonesia again, right? It's like thousands of islands. Everywhere you go, it's like another local language, customs, culture. Like, so it's so diverse that it's almost impossible to like deep dive into like everything. But that's also what's so like amazing about it, is that there is so much diversity. But again, yeah, she was just like, as a whole, Indonesia was like so unknown. It's just like black magic, weird vibes, weird presence. So yeah, I kind of got that vibe when I was down there as well. But I guess I'll go right into the story about Elder Booty. So I heard this story first from his trainer. So this happened when Elder Booty was in training, like fresh in the mission. And I just talked to him recently. I was just asking him, hey, is it okay if I share your story? And he's like, yeah, sure, go for it. It's a crazy story. Anyway, so I heard this first from his trainer, who witnessed it firsthand. And then I confirmed it when I was later companions with Elder Booty. So when I was companions with him, he was at the end of his mission. But anyways, kind of to set the scene, you're in pretty like poor conditions in most of the houses that you're in Indonesia. So anyways, they're in the bedroom. So it's late at night. Everyone's asleep. There's a bunk bed. Elder Booty is sleeping at the top. And there's another missionary down below, and then two other guys just on mattresses on the floor. They wake up to just like blood curdling screams. And it's Elder Booty on the top bunk, like just shot up. And everyone wakes up except for the one American dude. He's just like sound asleep throughout this whole thing. The two other guys wake up, and it's just Elder Booty just like screaming at the top of his lungs. And he's screaming, Alkitab, 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 which means the Bible in Indonesian. And so everyone's like disoriented. They're like, what is going on? Anyways, Elder Booty's trainer gets up to like try and console Elder Booty and like try and calm him down. As he goes to console him, Elder Booty leaps from the top bunk and sticks to the corner on the wall. Not on the ceiling, like, and again, it's not like high or anything, but he's like literally stuck on the wall and sticks there for like an abnormal amount of time. And at this point, they're like, what the hell is going on? Elder Booty's like stuck like Spider-Man on the wall. And then he just slides down and just like crawls out of the room. Like, they're like in shock, right? Like absolute horror. Don't know what to do. So Elder Booty runs out of the house. And they're like, after they come to their senses and trying to like come to terms with what had just happened, Elder Booty at this point has run out of the house down the street. And they just find him like curled up, fetal position, just like sweating. And at this point he had like come to and is just like crying in the middle of the street in the middle of the night. And so basically Elder Booty had this crazy nightmare. The sad part is only he and his trainer know what that nightmare was. So like
They won't tell.
They won't tell because it was just like, it was so evil and dark. They, I guess, have just like, they don't want to
Spread it.
Right? But the whole
That's
Spider-Man,
for our patrons.
the whole, yeah, we'll FaceTime him. the whole and force him to tell his nightmare. But no, the whole sticking on the wall and running out and just like craziness of it all was real. It happened. Like,
Was that
first
hush
hand
hush between like just the friends of the people who experienced that, or like did the whole mission end up finding out?
No, the whole mission ended up finding out because it's just like that's like one of the craziest things that ever happened. Like, and it was no, like Elder Booty is Spider-Man. Like,
Was he like facing the ceiling or the corner or like?
yeah, so like he just like boom,
No, let's not do this corner. Let's do that corner.
just like
over
stuck,
there, dude.
stuck on the corner on the wall. Again, like from the top bunk, just leapt.
Bro,
Just-
see what I mean by A24? I was thinking like Hereditary, where
Yeah.
she's like on the ceiling,
Oh,
banging
yeah.
her head on the.
Yeah, I don't think there's any
And then
head
just
banging or anything.
yeah,
Beds
but-
down and the crawl out. And the American dude's just sleeping the whole
Yeah.
time. How?
no sawing off her head or anything, or his head. But
He just went full gecko, dude.
yeah, so yeah, the whole
Maybe
the
it was super humid, and like that's how he.
whole, yeah.
Yeah,
Shut
the
up.
presence of Velcro.
Also terrifying because he leaves and it's like, are we supposed to chase this dude or
Yeah.
like what do we do? And he's crying in the middle of the road. Like
Yeah.
you think of
Trap,
like
bro.
Left 4 Dead.
yeah.
Yeah, like the whole spectacle of it all, right? Just like sticking on the wall, like it's scary, it's funny, but what scares me most is the fact that like they haven't shared that nightmare. And I confirmed that with him. I was like, "Have you ever shared that? Like what you dreamt about? Like why you like woke up in a fever dream screaming Bible?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, haven't told anyone." So yeah. So, yeah, that's Elder Booty, Spider-Man.
One day we'll get it. From
Maybe
him.
on his deathbed. But yeah,
Holy.
yeah. Some other funny stories. I can't remember what we were watching, but something. I don't know if it was like a movie trailer or something. But there are these things called pocongs. Again, there's so much stuff in Indonesia, and like Indonesia is really fascinating because everyone does identify like as religious, whether it's Islam, Catholicism, Christianity, whatever. It's all, and this is common in lots of Southeast Asian countries, right? There's like the traditional beliefs, like lots of it founded in animism, right? Like volcanoes and nature, like having spirits. So like when Krakatoa erupted, it's like, oh, bad juju. Spirits were angry or whatever.
Is Krakatoa in Indonesia?
Yeah. So there's tons of volcanoes in Indonesia. Yeah, pocongs. There are two stories that I have with pocongs, and they weren't even pocongs. So the first,
Do you want to pull up the picture first or after?
you pull it up now.
Dude, it's okay, I'm just gonna pull it up.
So in
What? Tar Nation?
yeah, so pocongs. So the whole cloth is like traditional. That's how they like wrap. I think it's like Muslim tradition. I think it's called kain kafan, but that's just like the traditional robing and covering of the deceased. I think it's like a
Go back.
belief
Basically
that,
a body bag, huh?
yeah, it's basically like a body bag. It's like belief that spirits will remain on earth for like 40 days after death. And if you come across a pocong, it's just like they haven't been released. They haven't been like unbound or something. And so, again, I haven't had any experiences with pocongs. I had two elders that like on our last night in an area had just put like a white t-shirt on a hanger on a tree in the backyard and pretended it was a pocong.
Dirty.
But like legit, like we all thought it was a pocong until like the next morning. We just saw, oh, it was a t-shirt. It was a t-shirt in the back. I think tying my next story as a kid and being really sick on my mission. I don't know if you guys had people in the Philippines or in Australia get like dengue fever. Is that
Couple.
a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty common. That was like probably the most sick, other than like when I was a kid in my next story. Again, talking about like veil being thin and just like feeling like you were dead. Because in Indonesia, they call it demam berdara, which means like fever in the blood. And again, it was the worst. Like I can't recall anything that I saw, but like I was seeing things and just like sitting there, like waiting for my test results to come back in the hospital, just like sitting on the cement, just like dead. But yeah, so this next story, this is back in the States now, back when we were in Washington. I was probably like 8 years old. And for a month, I was just like crazy sick. Like, I had like double ear infections. I was just like crazy fevers, everything. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Studio Ghibli films. Bro, you're Japanese. But anyways, so Spirited Away in particular kind of is what influenced these crazy fever dreams. So there's like Haku, he's like the dragon. And so I was just like sick for a month. And I'd wake up and just like sweating. I remember like my mom calling me over to like come get dinner. And I just remember waking up on the couch, sweating.
Seeing shit.
And I saw like the the dragon, like the white dragon, just like in my living room, just like dripping blood from his mouth, kind of like in the movie. And like in the movie, there's scary parts, but for the most part, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. But like this one was just like scary. So I saw that in my living room, staring at me. The second craziest thing that I saw was, if you want to bring up a picture of No Face, I was sleeping in my parents' bed. I remember waking up paralyzed.
Oh,
So kind of like sleep paralysis. I was paralyzed. And I've never had like sleep paralysis like since. I've had like crazy dreams and stuff, but I've never like woken up being unable to move. And I don't know from like your experience with sleep paralysis or other people that have spoken, like if like you see things, but like this is what caused it. So I saw something similar. So take No Face, but you remove the face. So it's just this like black being. And I remember it being like hooded, because I couldn't see a face, but I could just see like the darkest dark in there. So I see that, and it's moving slowly towards me. Like I can't move, but I'm crying and like calling out for my mom. And so my mom comes in and she just sees me like I'm like locked, just like staring at this thing, just crying. I'm like, there's something there, and it like wants to hurt me. And she like, calls my dad in. He comes in, like says a prayer, and I just remember like after he finished the prayer, it just like moving to the window and going and leaving.
Damn.
Dude, and you were 21?
No, this was when I was like 8.
Oh, I thought that was when you got home from your
No.
mission and you had
Yeah.
dengue.
No, so this was when I was 8 and just really really sick. So the craziest part of this story of me being sick as a kid, I didn't even know until a few years ago when we were on a walk, and my mom, we like a lot of my mom's, I guess this is what these experiences of me being sick really cemented the idea and the belief that, there is like spirits and like demons, like good and bad, right? And kind of like being sick and how that it thins that divide between it all. So yeah, again, like the craziest part of this story of me being sick, I didn't hear until like a few years ago. We were on a walk. For whatever reason, that period of me being sick came up, and my mom starts telling the story. We're just in shock because we had never heard this before. I'm just like really sick. I'm really little. It's the middle of the night and I'm sleeping in between both my parents. My mom wakes up because I'm just like kind of tossing and I'm kind of speaking in my sleep. And not that I know of, I don't really talk a lot in my sleep, but I'm just like, just acting weird. So my mom naturally wakes up and like wants to comfort me and console me. And she's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I just like become still and I open up my eyes and I just like stare at her like evil, like possessed, like with this like creepy ass grin, like just like staring at her, like I'm literally possessed, and something has like taken over me and is now like interacting with my mom. And my mom's natural reaction is just like anger, and she's like, "Get the hell out of my son," you know. I just become normal again. But yeah, I didn't even know that had happened.
Dude, that's crazy that
So,
was
like-
that was her response.
Yeah.
I feel like most people would be like,
Yeah. It was like,
Wow.
so it began with like me seeing things and becoming like paralyzed. And then it like kind of came to a head where she's like, oh, okay, this shit's real. Yeah, I'm angry now. Like, stop messing with my son. Yeah. Yeah.
Your parents be doing that. They'll just randomly tell you something super traumatic. And you're like, that's why I, wet the bed still or something out of nowhere. My aunt recently told me, do you remember when you almost died? And I was like, what? And she's like, when you were like 4, my cousins who lived in Vegas, Las Vegas, had a big ass like 18 passenger van that we drove around everywhere. We went out, went shopping, came back, middle of the day, summer in Vegas. My aunt, she's like, 10 kids running around, gets inside, gets all the groceries. Everyone's eating, getting a snack or something. She looks around and she's like, where's Charlie? I had fallen asleep in the back of the car and it was like 118 out. And she said, oh shit. Cause it's been like 20 minutes. She ran out there and apparently I was like beat red. She was like probably minutes from death. She just like picked up my like lifeless like 4-year-old body, ran me inside, threw me in the bath, and like did all this water and shit, and like it came back to life or something. But yeah, she casually told me that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But
you remember her?
do you remember that? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So fun times.
Yeah.
So your mom just sprung that on you, and you were just like, oh, let's finish this walk.
Yeah. It's like I remember like seeing demons and stuff, being sick, but I didn't know that I was legitimately possessed.
Yikes.
For a bit there.
And that was the only time it happened.
Yeah, as far as I know. But yeah, again, like, yeah, it's like what really cemented. My mom knew like right then and there, okay, yeah, this is real. Like these things are real. Bad spirits and demons and stuff.
How big is your family? How many
Um,
siblings you have?
I'm the oldest of 4.
Did any of your siblings have anything like that?
No.
No experiences?
No.
You're the unlucky one?
Yeah,
The test subject at the
exactly.
beginning.
Yeah, the eldest sibling. So my last story takes place in Provo, here in Utah. So this is where the story takes place. I was with my, I think I was, how old was I? Like 14 years old when this happened. I was with my soccer team. We had just lost in the state cup final. But we had like a get together team dinner regardless that night. But we're all like sad and depressed and stuff after losing the game. And we're just in the basement playing Halo or whatever. And just
That's how
feeling
you
sorry.
cope.
Yeah, playing Halo, feeling sorry for ourselves. And someone had the good idea of like, yo, let's just go like doorbell ditch,
Okay.
TP, just like normal shit to do as like little teenage boys. And so 15 of us get up, we sneak out because, there's like parents upstairs. We're like, we don't want them to know. So we all sneak out of the house. And for the next few hours, we're just doing stupid shit. We TP'd like 20 trees like down the street. Like we
Put pochongs in people's trees.
yeah. One of the funniest things, there were 15 of us. We just like rang this doorbell and then just sat on the curb
Damn,
All
that's a
15 of us.
mob.
and just like
I open the door, but
No.
straight closed.
The purge.
Not Halloween.
little girl comes, opens the door, and we're like, hey, just
What?
like waving, just like being all smug. And then the mom comes out and is like, I'm calling the police. And so I don't know at what point, but 5 of us like split off And then the rest of us were just like continuing to do what we were doing, just TPing trees. We get to this house that's pulled up, and this is like October, it's like Halloween time. There's like pumpkins on the porch and stuff. Someone takes the pumpkins and we just start smashing them in the street in front of the house, and then like ring the doorbell. And then we like kind of, there's like that like forested area to the side of their house. We all just kind of like go in there and watch them come out and like see it all unfold.
You were just taking out your loss.
Yeah.
On these damn pumpkins.
And so while we were in there, we see this guy come out with his girlfriend, and he gets all like pissed. They get in their car, and of course they can see the trail of like devastation, just like trees, just like toilet paper everywhere. And so they get in their car, kind of go up the street to investigate. Meanwhile, we're just like sitting right out like by the side of their house in the trees over there. And we get a call from the other guys. They're like backyard hopping. They're like, hey, heads up. There's like actually police like patrolling around. So it might be a good idea to head back. Or just like keep a lookout. Like, all right, like yeah, we're heading back. And so we're just hanging out, just like laughing because this guy's just like going around. We see them get in their car at the end of the street. They flip around and just come like speeding right towards us. Instead of pulling into their driveway, they pull right into the trees there. You can't really tell, but there's like this fence that goes into someone's backyard. So we're just hanging out in those trees, and we see them speeding down the street and come like zooming in, pulling in right like next to us. So at this point we're like, oh shit, like we should probably head back. And so immediately like free for all, we start hopping this fence, and I get to the top of the fence. I slip and fall. And like I get up, dust myself off, gonna go for a second attempt. Next thing I know, I am on the ground, pinned on the ground. And I just remember the first like punch right to my face. And after that, just like numb. I remember like feeling my face getting rocked. The initial just like boom, like pain just like welled up like in my face. I just remember like my head just moving. I just like, I know I'm getting punched. And pardon my language, this dude is just like shaking me on the ground, punching me in the face. And it's just like, the you like think you're doing, being idiots, like doing some stupid shit, like these are morons. And it's just like cussing me out and just like shaking me. Again, I'm like 14 years old. Like nothing like this has ever happened to me. Like I've gotten to like dumb little fist fights and stuff, but like I've never been like punched in the face.
Just like full grown dude.
Yeah.
Like full.
It's because
Grown
you
man.
didn't tell him that it was just a prank, bro.
Yeah. 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 I didn't have the wherewithal to say, yo, it's a prank. So yeah, I'm 14, getting rocked, and I pissed myself. So like,
Oh shit.
because I'm in shock. It's like never happened to me. Like I can feel my face just like swelling up. I'm wet, just like soaked.
Did he get collateral damage?
No, like
What was more on your mind? The fact that like you were pissing your pants or like getting punched in the face?
getting punched in the face.
Okay.
Where are your homies?
Yeah. So again, right? It's like free for all.
What homies, dude?
Yeah, for real. I think I remember them like hearing screaming, but everyone was just like scared as hell. And so eventually they get back and they're like, yo, we're Seth. And then we're like too embarrassed to like, like, hey, parents, like Seth is missing. So anyways, so I'm getting rocked.
Still on the ground.
Still on the ground. Anyway, he picks me up and drags me and puts me on the porch. And I'm sitting there as he's just like continuing to cuss me out. Just like, you idiots, doing the stupid shit. Like, who do you think you are? All this stuff.
For a pumpkin, damn,
And
bro.
yeah, for a pumpkin. And I'm sitting there like swollen face. I just wet myself. The initial like tackling me to the ground. There were like, branches and stuff. So like my back is just like cut up. I can feel myself like bleeding, just sitting there wet. And the girlfriend was more level-headed and was just like, hey, like, who were you with? Like, do you have like someone I can contact to like have them come pick you up or whatever? And so like, while this guy is still like just like pissed off. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm with so-and-so. And she's like, oh yeah, like they're in my ward. It turns out like this dude, it wasn't even his house. Like it was his girlfriend's house. Like the parents were out like for dinner or whatever. But like, again, he's still like a full-blown adult.
Hella white knight for this girl.
He's also Samoan, like this 250-pound Samoan. I forgot to leave
Bro,
it
you
out.
gotta lead with that.
Yeah.
So this is a life or death situation.
Well, again, I couldn't see this guy, because literally like out of the darkness, just like comes and like tackles me,
For
almost into the ground.
Dude, that's crazy that you didn't hear him too.
Yeah,
Usually
the
they're
ground
loud as hell, yeah.
Hit you with a chi-hoo as he chi-hoo.
yeah.
So you literally meant it when you said he rocked you.
Rock! Dwayne. You smelt what he was cooking.
Yeah. So,
So like chill.
What were you thinking?
well, I'm just
matter what you were thinking. Sorry, just pulling a rock joke here.
So,
But legit, like what were you thinking? Like you're just sitting there being like, this sucks ass.
yeah, this sucks ass because like all my friends left me.
All my friends are dead.
I just got the shit beaten out of me.
By Samoan, dude. That's
Like-
wild.
I'm like, I just pissed myself. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Been like a year.
Should have been wearing my diaper. No, but so the girlfriend's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go call them. And then this guy takes me into the garage.
You're like, oh no.
This is like the again, yeah, crazy. They like beat me up and everything. But like while
Now it's getting weird.
Yeah,
she's like
this is
going to call my friend's mom
Don't leave me.
to like come get me, for whatever reason, he's like, oh yeah, let's keep you in the garage so you don't like run away. He puts me in the garage and I'm there, like I'm this 14-year-old kid, just like
This is borderline kidnapping now.
yeah. I'm just like sitting there in the garage and he's just like, yeah, you guys shouldn't be doing that, all this stuff, like still like trying to like give me this talk, like, yeah, you should know better and all this stuff. I was like,
Shouldn't be beating up kids.
Yeah, what?
yeah. And so, so all my teammates come and they're like crazy sorry. All the parents are pissed off because we were like
Almost killed you.
we were doing stupid stuff. But then, yeah, they like ditched me. I just remember the guy like comes up to me. He's like, hey, like I won't press charges if you don't press charges on me. And I'm like, I'm 14, so I had no like
Press.
like I'm like, okay. And of course, like,
What does that mean?
yeah, so like of course when I get home, like my like friend's dad takes me home. And I remember like it's like midnight. I walk into the house in the kitchen and my mom like walks in. Like what the hell happened? Because like my whole face is just like swollen.
You pissed yourself.
Yeah. And so of course like, she calls the police officer to come over and like take my report and everything. The funniest thing was that dude was, I'm pretty sure he was like in training to become a police officer. He's like, so natural, but yeah. So like for a while I had a
Which
record.
joke do we want to go with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just ruined.
So, but yeah, that was the story of me getting beat up by a
Cop.
Samoan. Yeah, by a police officer in training. Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. Talk about overreaction.
Yeah.
Like, however, I get it. If I caught a kid now, I would do something,
You would beat them up,
but not beat him
for
to a pulp
smashing
and then
your
like
pumpkin.
kidnap him into my garage.
I feel like at most I'd scare them for the fun of it.
I'd like throw
And then be
something at
all
them or something.
Now go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your family didn't like press charges or anything?
No, we did. I
You
can't-
did?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because
Really?
because he
yeah.
assaulted a minor. You know?
And then kidnapped him.
Yeah. I got charged with like trespassing on private property and
Cool.
destruction of property.
Oh.
But like when the judge, like when I attended the class or whatever at juvie, the judge was like, I looked at your file, your report, you're like, you're good. I'll take care of it. So
Was your face still swollen shut at that time?
no,
I'm sure
I
that
don't
would've
think
helped.
But yeah,
Damn.
but he's like, you guys are just doing dumb typical teenager stuff. So like you're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like no,
Yeah.
but like that guy.
Purely overreaction from that dude.
It was funny. So like, yeah, that story was notorious. That was like my freshman year. It was a pretty
This is in
big
Provo.
deal. Yeah. 10 few.
What's the exact address?
Dox this
no,
fool.
the funniest, I'm not going to name names because I'm pretty sure I know the guy's last name, but I was telling it to one of my friends. He's Samoan. He's like, dude, I'm pretty sure that's my cousin.
Don't bully them, dude.
Of course, yeah.
Everybody's Ohana in
Yeah.
Polynesia.
Like, I'm sorry, man, but yeah, it's probably my cousin. But
That's some
Yeah.
sort of hate crime, dude.
yeah. I don't know. Samoan on Asian. I don't know. It's just a crime.
Bro, that's insane.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I've never had the shit beat out of me by an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing supernatural about it, but it's like, yeah, it's probably one of the craziest things that ever happened to me. It's funny now, but like every time I do, like tell it, like gets my heart racing.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because yeah, I
Because you
can,
peed yourself.
yeah, that's because I can still remember like staring up at the fence and then just like boom,
Damn.
and like yeah, that first punch to my face, like I can still, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
That's so crazy. He put you in his garage.
yeah.
It's not even his house.
That's the funny thing.
Like,
Not
bro,
even his house.
chill, dog.
That's what I was saying. He was hella white knight. It's like not even his girlfriend's house. It's his
He
girlfriend's
just
parents'
freshly
house.
carved that pumpkin himself.
Yeah. That's
And-
what happened. Oh, yeah. He proposed with that pumpkin or some shit.
You smashed my bumpkin.
Yeah.
Wild, dude. That's hilarious. Wild times in Provo, dude. Did you have any other stories?
No, that's it. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that happened in if anyone. Yeah, we won't say the address, but
Damn, getting accurate.
o-
No,
over,
let's see. We can't
over
say
in
that.
Grandview, because I bet people like, yeah, if you're familiar with Provo, you know,
I'm
where is.
gonna like recognize the house when I go to you.
Dude, we have some people who listen to our stories, and if they live near, they'll go investigate and
Yeah.
report back to us. We've had the one that was in Provo with the pentagram.
Yeah.
Oh,
A ton of people went out and looked
Yeah.
for it and then told us about it. And then I talked about a hummus shop.
Oh, in
Portland.
Portland, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. But we had some people investigate, and they had some encounters. So we'll
That's super
hopefully
cool.
get him on sometime, and he'll tell us about it. But no, if you put that up, people will go look, and so we got to be careful.
Yeah. So
Because we don't want to get
we'll
you
say
get the shit kicked out of you.
but yeah, if you see some trees, maybe that's where Seth got beat up and wet himself.
Dude, iconic. Insanity.
dude, thank you for coming on,
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
making it out here. I forgot most of the details of that story, but I've been itching to hear it again
Yeah,
with the
elder
spider-
booty.
elder booty
yeah,
up on the ceiling.
yeah.
Love it. Anything else you have for our listeners?
Just stay safe out there. Just know that sometimes there are consequences if you do stupid shit. For the most part, you'll get away with it. So keep doing what you want to do. But
Eventually.
But one of those times
Yeah,
there's
there's
a
a 1 in
Samoan.
15 chance.
1 in 15 chance there's going to be a 250-pound Samoan that's out to wreck you. So just keep a lookout.
Hell yeah. Well, with that, trust your gut, watch your back.
Eat slab.
Eat slab always.
Be careful out
and,
there.
And what's goodbye in Indonesian?
Sampai ketemu lagi.
Jeez Louise.
Wow.
Bye.
Adios. Bye.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of 3 a.m. If you want to support us, visit our Patreon where patrons have access to exclusive content. If you're not able to support us monetarily, don't worry. This episode is on us. You can still rate and review us on whatever platform you listen to us on. It really does go a long way. You can also follow us on social media. Our handle everywhere, including Patreon, is the 3 a.m. pod. Finally, do you have any scary stories? If so, submit them to our website, the3ampodcast.com. We love any audio or visual aids that can help bring your stories to life, so file uploads are welcome with your written submissions. We're anxious and excited to hear from you.